Hello and welcome to the highlights of the first day's play in this bicentenary test match at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Australia and England, the two oldest foes in the game. Terrific conditions here for the first day and a very, very happy atmosphere. Tony Greig said when he got out there to have a look at the pitch, there seemed to be a bit of moisture under the surface. He thought there might be some movement off the seam, but basically it was going to be a very good flat pitch once they got over the first hour or so. Ian Chappell talked to the two captains and they were both eager to win the toss. It went Mike Gatting's way and the two skippers, when they were out there, announced these teams. First of all, the Australians, led by Border and Geoffrey Marsh, vice-captain. Boone, Jones, Valletta, Waugh, Sleep, Dyer, Dodemaide, Taylor and McDermott, and Merv Hughes has been made 12th man. Carrying the drinks for England will be Philip de Freitas. He's been under some sort of a cloud through a hamstring injury. A problem there for the England selectors. And they have Gatting as skipper, Embury as vice-captain, and then Broad, Moxon, Robinson, Athy, Capel, French, Foster, Hemmings, Dilley, and de Freitas as listed 12th man. Now, these two teams met here at the Sydney Cricket Ground just a year ago, and that was the occasion where Peter Sleep and Peter Taylor bowled out England. It was a great victory for the Australians, even though England had already retained the Ashes and won the series. These are the changes there's been in 1 year. Boone for Ritchie, Valletta for Wellham, Dyer for Zura, McDermott for Hughes, and Dodemaide for Reid. Those are the changes in the Australian side in 12 months. And England, Moxon has come in for Alan Lamb, who's been dropped. Gower is unavailable, and Robinson comes in for him. David Capel is an interesting all-rounder, in for Ian Botham, though he can't be expected at this stage to reach those heights. Bruce French is in for Jack Richards. Eddie Hemmings for Phil Edmonds, who is unavailable, but possibly no certainty to be chosen anyway. And Neil Foster for Gladstone Small. Well, this is a happy occasion. It's not 200 years of cricket in Australia, but it's part of the birthday out here. We're 200 years old, and the atmosphere around the ground with the spectators pouring in was magnificent. There were some lovely sights too just before the start of play with the two teams lining up, the national anthems of both sides, both countries being played, and the marching koalas out there to add a festive atmosphere to the whole scene. We pick up play now in the 6th over. Tony Dodemaide is the bowler, playing in only his second test match. He's going to bowl to Martin Moxon. 15 runs are on the board. In the commentary box we start off with two captains, former Australian captain Bill Lawry, and for England, Bob Willis.
Oh, hot chance, went down. If you can call that a chance at short leg. David Boone getting his hands to that as Moxon worked the ball off his hip.
The ball travelling very quickly, instinctive reaction from the fielder, but can't hang on to it. A lead off for Moxon.
Nicely driven. First boundary, a very good over from Dodemaide, no wicket for 20.
Peter Taylor to resume.
That's nicely timed. The outfield is quick. A loose one from Peter Taylor, and England almost up to the half-century.
Stephen Waugh coming on from the Randwick end.
And there's another one.
It's built that way.
Could only class that, I'm afraid, as a straightforward chance. They made it look very complicated.
Certainly Alan Border's catch, trying to force off the back foot Moxon, and just wonder whether Valletta didn't get a little piece of that afterwards. And in fact, he didn't really get a hand on that. He picked it up on the half volley after it had come out of Border's hands, and poor old Alan Border grabbing his head.
That's close. Well, perhaps just missing leg stump.
Broad, perhaps given the benefit of the doubt, maybe because it was going over the top, maybe because it was missing leg stump. certainly close.
Oh, it's in the air and over the top of Little Valletta, down to the boundary. I don't think he got a finger on that one. It certainly went whizzing away over the top of second slip, and Broad has a little smile there because he probably realises that that was just a little lucky.
Steve Waugh, again, not having luck going his way. It's the third boundary of the morning. All of them going to Broad.
Well, England no wicket for 65, and Peter Sleep is being introduced. Quite often see this in Test matches just prior to a break. Slip the leg spinner or the spinner if he hasn't had a go into the attack. So Peter Sleep now, the fifth bowler to be used for Australia. Short ball and straight away whacked away to the boundary for 4. Well, that's going to happen from time to time to any leg spinner.
Certainly a case of happy birthday. Necessarily his 200th. Still, he's still at the crease, a chance to post a double century. And that upset Alan Border, having dropped him, but certainly the long hop. It was Peter Sleep who, a flipper to work for him, took the last wicket in that memorable victory. He was here last summer at the SCG together with Peter Taylor.
No wicket for 71. That's a rank full toss, and he's dropped it. That's the second one down. Now, that would have surprised him, but I tell you what, if you're going to drop catches, then you're not going to win Test matches. That's the second really straightforward catch to go down, and it tells, I think that tells the story. Both Border and McDermott looking distraught.
No need to say anything to a bowler when you drop one like this. Straight back, it was hit fairly firmly. High line was good. Both hands cupped. This is how the batsman would have seen the ball leave his blade. And even the umpire almost a chance there. Well,
Peter Sleep bowling from the Randwick end.
Nice placement. And good timing as well. That's racing away over the outfield. He didn't give that a big hit, but timed it perfectly. 85 now for no wicket.
Taylor's missed that one. That'll race down to the boundary. Another 4 to Martin Moxon. No wicket for 89.
It's a cracking stroke from Chris Broad. And it's no wicket for 93.
Peter Sleep. It's got him, bowled him, hitting over the full pitch delivery. Peter Sleep breaks through. Fine piece of leg spin bowling. England 1 for 93.
That's the one they've been looking for. Been a few chances earlier on this morning. Moxon has played and missed several occasions. This time trying to whip the ball away. A ball of full length on the onside. Completely played over the top of it. Ball pitching around about leg stump and knocking off the stump out of the ground. So England lose their first wicket. That of Moxon, score at 93.
Tim Robertson comes to the crease. 93 runs on the board for England. But Peter Sleep has broken through. He's bowled quite well. This ball spins, even though it beats the batsman on the full.
No doubt it should have been struck through the onside or struck anywhere, really. You don't miss full tosses if you're a Test opener, but boy, oh boy, did the Australians need that wicket.
So Dodder made to continue now. His figures 11 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 26. And that's into the gap. McDermott's just struggling a little bit down there. He's running down to pick that one up, and Broad goes through for the third. That brings up his half century. And he gets the appropriate applause, mainly from the English folk in the crowd, but everyone, in fact, joining in. A few Union Jacks down there in the hill area.
So Chris Broad will be very pleased with that. 4 fours in that 50, only up in 190 minutes.
Well, he's hit that over the top and down to mid-wicket. He obviously was waiting for one that was pitched on about leg stump and decided to whip it away into that vacant area down there. It was a good shot.
Broad making no mistake with that. The outfield, I think, a little quicker today than we've seen it on other occasions.
Peter Taylor from the Randwick end. Into the gap, and that'll run down to the boundary at point. Into the fence it goes. Lovely timing and not a very good ball. Just a little bit too short.
The rare short balls from Peter Taylor. Held 8 overs in that first spell, had none for 12. Far too short here. Tim Robertson getting that one in the meat of the bat. And the ball going with that fast outfield. Straight to the fence.
It's going to be Stephen Waugh.
That's a beautiful shot. Outfield is quite a bit faster than what we saw it for the World Series Cup competition. But still not as fast as I have seen it here at the SCG.
Was a beautiful shot. Pitching around Midland leg. Bat picked up nice and straight. Just turned a fraction at the point of contact so that it was passed a little wide of the right hand of Waugh. Timing very sweet.
Craig McDermott comes back into the attack. He replaces Stephen Waugh at the Paddington end. Shouts of catch it, but that was well away from Greg Dyer. And a boundary to Chris Broad. 1 for 144.
Oh, what a shocker of a delivery, and that got what it just deserved, to be smashed away into the big wicket fence. There's no doubt about that. Tony Crafter signalled before, so Peter Taylor. Interesting to run his experience alongside of, say, John Embury or Eddie Hemmings, the off spinners from England. Let's watch this again. That is high and hard through mid-wicket. Taylor has played 15 first-class matches. This is his second test match. Watch this delivery.
Second bad delivery in this over. Peter Taylor just losing a bit of confidence, I think, at the moment.
Not a good over, this one from Taylor, being dispatched away again.
Looks as if Peter Sleep is going to continue with these leg spinners. Well, that's the first runs for 3 overs. Through the gap, at extra cover. Lovely shot there by Tim Robinson.
Beautiful piece of timing by Robinson. Just caressed this ball and split the gap perfectly. Real half volley. And neither player, cover or mid-off, had any chance whatsoever of getting anywhere near that.
Craig McDermott desperate for a wicket. He's had one opportunity, put that one down. It was a return catch. He would love to break through here. Oh, and that was a bit wide too. It's going to go to the boundary, and one can understand the frustrations here that McDermott's having. He can't believe it. That is a good delivery too, just wide enough. Got him playing at the wide ball. He really did edge it, and that is Broad's first scoring stroke since the tea interval.
Just playing this one a little bit away from his body, and McDermott, I heard the yell of "oh no," and he just couldn't believe his misfortune there. It's bowled quite beautifully to him since the tee of German. That was in the air but in the gap, and oh boy, it must be frustrating to be a fast bowler.
McDermott has gone off. Tony Dodemaide has to come on. That's a beautiful stroke. A bit too short from Tony Dodemaide. One for 188.
Leg spin to continue. Been asleep.
Shout of catch, but it would have been no justice had that been caught. A full toss. Broad got it on the meat of the bat and smashed it away past the man at mid-wicket, Stephen Waugh.
Sometimes a batsman, having withstood the good deliveries, just relaxes a bit when a long hop or a full toss comes along, but not that time. Broad dispatched that one away.
Well, they've held one. Tim Robinson has gone, and Tony Dodemaide has got Robinson in the way other fast bowlers have got him in recent times, just playing that fend away shot fractionally outside off stump. Now the second wicket goes. Sometimes that can start a bit of a rush, but that is typical of the problems Robinson has had against pace bowlers.
Always something in this SCG track for the bowler prepared to bend his back. The extra bounce did the damage. It was too close to cut, and the waiting game's over. Robinson out for 43. England 2 for 192.
Mike Gatting is the new batsman, captain of England. This is how Robinson went.
Very close to the body, the extra bounce. He could do no more than fend it away. Couldn't keep it to ground. And there he is, that man, Valletta. He's taken some good catches this summer. Features twice on the Classic Catches competition. Dodemaide again having success in the international arena. It's a proud moment for him.
Shouts of catch it, but I think they were mainly directed at the square leg umpire, Peter McConnell.
Chris Broad quite happy to take full control when the ball's pitched like that. This really is a disappointing spell from Sleep. He bowled so well in the Test match here last year, but very little success today.
And that's the 5th Test century for Chris Broad, 4 of them against Australia. Fourth first-class 100 for Chris Broad. Just what England needed.
Super effort again from Chris Broad. How he loves playing his cricket in Australia.
Dodemaide around the wicket. An edge along the ground, misfield, races away, Border gives chase. 4 runs. So it's certainly not running for the Australian team. An edge, didn't quite carry to Valletta, knocked it on, raced away for 4.
See Tony Dodemaide making a change to his approach to the wicket, bowling around the wicket for the first time and getting the outside edge first ball. Again, the ball not quite carrying to Valletta at second slip. And to rub insult into the injury, 4 runs.
A touch of luck there for Chris Broad. and it wasn't the first bit of luck he had during the day, but it was basically a very, very good effort from him. He fought his way through rather a sluggish start where he played and missed at the two opening bowlers, finished up with a century, and it's typical of the way Chris Broad plays. He is a very, very good batsman, and he took full advantage of ending loose, and it was a splendid effort from the England point of view. I bet Mike Gatting is absolutely delighted with having won the toss. The scorecard at the close of play, 2 for 221, Broad 116. Gatting has taken his time out there. He was concerned very much with not losing another wicket when the second new ball came on, in the same way as the Australians were striving for the breakthrough. 2 for 221, 94 overs bowled in the day, and it was quite a warm day here. I suspect they might have been able to get up to 100 if they'd really worked at it. Craig McDermott bowled very well. He was frustrated by the end. 26 overs, 7 maidens, none for 46. There'll be other days on other grounds, perhaps even this one, where he'll bowl much worse than that and get 5 for 80. Dodder made 1 for 54. Taylor none for 27, wasn't at his best today. War none for 28. And Peter Sleep, I thought, bowled extremely well. 23 overs, 5 maidens, 1 for 54. He went past the outside edge on quite a number of occasions. So England have taken all the honours on the first day of this bicentennial match here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Mike Gatting won the toss. The batsman did all the right things for him. The Australian fielders put down 3 catches when they've fielded so magnificently throughout the rest of the summer. And England, at the end of the first day, in a very, very strong position. Good night. Day 2 of the bicentenary test at the Sydney Cricket Ground between Australia and England. We pick it up now in the 6th over of the day. 12 runs have been added to the overnight score by England. It's Tony Doddermaid coming into bowl to Mike Gatting, and in the commentary box to start proceedings on this second day, Ian Chappell, and alongside him, Rodney Marsh.
It's worth a shout, but probably had a few things going against it. Might have gone over the top. Could have well hit Gatting on the pad outside the line of off stump.
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt that it would have hit the stumps. It's just getting a fraction outside off stump.
Craig McDermott.
Shouts of catch it. It was well wide of Dean Jones and away for the first boundary of the morning. He likes them short, Mike Gatting.
Gets onto the back foot very quickly, Gatting. And it just pivots. Very well controlled shot.
There's going to be a change at the Randwick end. Stephen Waugh replacing Tony Doddermaid.
Well, that's what they've been waiting a long, long time for. Stephen Waugh, who was so unlucky yesterday when Alan Border dropped that catch, has broken through for Australia, and that will be very welcome for Alan Border.
A little bit of extra bounce from Steve Waugh. Mike Gatting can't get his bat away in time, and the England skipper's gone. 3 for 245.
Bill Athey is the new batsman for England. The breakthrough achieved by Stephen Waugh.
Just a little nick, but that's enough. Mike Gatting walking, not waiting for the umpire's finger.
Well, that's a very good over from Steve Waugh. He got Broad onto the back foot, then gave him the slower ball, which forced him to check his stroke, then gave him the one outside off stump at which he could flash, which he did. And it's gone for 4 over the head of the slips.
Certainly the luck continuing to go England's way. Australia haven't had a scrap of it yet.
Stephen Waugh's tried 1 or 2 bounces, a slower delivery to Broad, who's unflappable. Chris Broad just bounces down under the bouncer, doesn't attempt to hook at all. Makes the bowlers bowl to him. He likes the half volleys. Very good driver. He got him. He didn't get out the road that time. The ball hitting the body into the stumps, and Broad is bowled by Waugh for 139.
A just reward there for Steve Waugh. He set that wicket up, that dismissal, in previous overs. He rattled the left-hander, 6'4" tall. Broad. Good line, that one. He took his eye off the ball. Didn't know where the bat was. The ball found the bat and its way onto the stumps. And a second wicket for Waugh this morning, just what the Australian captain would need. Brought out for a marvellous 139, his 5th Test century. England now 4 for 262.
David Capel comes to the crease. Replaced Chris Broad, who batted superbly for England. He was worked out by young Stephen Waugh. It's a fine spell. He's mixed it up, the 1 or 2 bounces, the slower delivery, and finally Broad in 2 minds.
Good follow through, a lot of energy, but that extra bounce, and it's one very upset English opening batsman.
Good opportunity for the Australians to go on with the job this morning. 2 wickets near the batsman set. Bill Athey on 6, the batsman on strike to Peter Sleep.
Bill Athey getting that one away, and once again Peter Taylor making a despairing dive. Athey's a very fine player of spin bowling, loves to employ the sweep stroke, and got that one just in front of square.
Beautifully played. That was a top spinner. He picked it early. One of the shots of the match so far.
And the gun loaded on that occasion. Knew where to go. One did go away like a bullet out of a gun. Back in position and took full toll of that. Second boundary. Capel.
Stephen Waugh continues.
Good shot. Waugh is really trying everything to unsettle the batsman. Quicker ones, bouncers, Yorkers, slower ones. But this bounce is played away nicely by Athey. Oh, and he's had him. Well done. That was pretty close. The bat came down, and what good fielding by Stephen Waugh. I tell you what, he's injected a little bit of life into the Aussies today. Waiting for an opportunity, and didn't he jump onto that one quickly?
He certainly is a magnificent fielder. And he's realised the opportunity was there, and that must have been awfully close.
Peter Sleep is about to bowl.
In the air, used his feet though, hit it straight down the ground. Bill Athey in good touch.
One of the problems with the leg spinners, it's very difficult for them to control the ball as well as a finger spinner, and the occasional bad delivery is bound to result. That was one of them. Despairing lurch at the ball from Sleep, but it's well past him and rattles into the fence.
4 for 313, a big round of applause as Alan Border remembers Peter Taylor, who comes back into the attack. Got him, he's got another one. He picks up Athey, back into the attack. Athey driving, hit it beautifully, but straight back to Taylor, and the off spinner breaks through. Peter Taylor catches Bill Athey for 37.
And what a timely bowling change by Alan Border. Peter Taylor making no mistake with the catch, hurls it high into the air with delight. Bill Athey's gone after looking particularly dangerous. England 5 for 313.
So John Embry out there now to take up the attack for England. Taylor to continue. It's in the air, and it's going to work for him. He's got him. He's struck again. So, Taylor putting into action a plan by bringing a man in close on the offside. And that has unsettled David Capel to the extent that he is now holed out.
He didn't time this one very well at all. Huge swing at it. And for a moment I thought that was going way over mid-off. But he's timed it so poorly, he succeeded in just blooping it up in the air, and Peter Sleep takes a very, very simple catch. That's the end of David Capel. Port Sleep bowled Taylor for 21, and England now 6 for 314.
Bruce French, the new batsman for England. He's joined Embry out there. French is the English wicketkeeper. Dodemaide is going to continue. Oh, and that's got through the keeper. Oh, that's well bowled, Tony Dodemaide. It looked to me as if it was very close to the ground as it went past Dyer. It'd be interesting to see if he got a glove on this one. It went quickly.
And in the end, finished up not getting a glove on it.
6 for 337, 5 to French, 17 to Embury. All spin attack now. Peter Sleep has just finished an over. Here's Peter Taylor, and here's Ian Chappell with Doug Walters.
Thanks, Richie. Peter Taylor having a bit of success after a wicketless day yesterday. Embry deciding to work on the theory that Neil Harvey just mentioned downstairs, to attack the spinners. That's perhaps not quite how Neil would have done it, but results still there with a 4.
Certainly wasn't a lot of footwork attached to the shot, but very effective. A couple of bounces into the mid-on boundary.
That's well bowled, well taken by Greg Dyer. And John Embry almost walked for that stumping. He realised that he dragged onto the line, and he just had a quick look around at the umpire, and he was on his way. Greg Dyer, in fact, was pointing to the line and the fact that the batsman's foot was on it.
Peter Sleep giving a little air again, and that one really did spin. John Embry lifting his foot up onto the line, with a quick glance at the umpire, and was quite happy to accept the decision. He's on his way for 23, and England have lost their 7th wicket for 346.
Neil Foster is at the crease now. Umpire Crafter giving a good decision with that stumping. The batsman, as Doug Walters mentioned, John Embry having his toe on the line is out. Not sure that I like players trying to influence the umpire's decision. Greg Dyer there pointing to the foot, pointing to the line before the umpire had given the decision. Attempted quicker ball and a drop chance. Slashed away to backward point by Bruce French, and Jeffrey Marsh at backward point has spilt the chance.
There's the flipper, a wide one, and Jeff Marsh just misjudging that ball. I think he thought it was going to drop in front of him. In the end, it did carry quite comfortably, and yet another one goes down.
Well, Peter Taylor to continue now. We've got a slip, a leg slip, and a bat pad. French has the strike. Oh, he's hit that one beautifully. Not bothering to run for that. Lovely straight hit in the air and down the ground.
That is certainly the best shot that Bruce French has played. Timed that to perfection. Straight as you like.
Push the man at mid-off back to the boundary now.
Have
a look at that. What a magnificent shot. On the back foot and whack. It was very short, not a very good ball, but he certainly timed it beautifully and placed it too.
Not too many of the English players have played a better shot than that in this test so far. Marginally short, and Foster, a tall man, onto the back foot, crashed it through the gap there.
Got him. Caught slip by Border. No mistake on that occasion. They're not easy off the spinners. Border staying nice and relaxed. Latched onto that one.
Yes, didn't he catch it nice and easily? Foster trying to slam this one through the covers. And Alan Border staying very still, keeping his eye right on the ball. He did it so easily. So England lose their 8th wicket, score 3-8-7.
Eddie Hemmings, this is his 7th test match. He has a batting average of 22. Taylor's figures 3 for 67. That's in the air. This could be out. No, it's wide of the fieldsman down there, just wide of him. And into the fence. Yes. Tony Dodemaide having a bit of trouble with the bounce down there. So 4 more to the total, 8 for 398.
A very frustrating time for the Australians. The England tail edging the score along. Past the 400 mark. And still 2 wickets to fall. It's Peter Taylor coming in from the Randwick end.
And a chance there for Greg Dyer to get his opposite number. He does exactly that, stumping Bruce French just 3 runs short of his half-century.
Bruce French may have had a lot of luck during this innings, but it was a good little knock for his side. But he's way down the track there. He's gone, and England are 9 for 410.
And that brings Graham Dilley to the crease.
No danger for Dyer missing that one. Bruce French gave him every opportunity. Must have been 4 feet down the track.
That's got Greg Dyer right in the nose. Don't know how that's got up there, unless it's pitched in the footmarks and bounced straight up, but it's a rather nasty blow. He's already had a broken nose. And it certainly has pitched in the rough. That's what's caused the ball to bounce so sharply. Team physiotherapist is out there, and he's going to help Greg Dyer off the field. Michael Valletta will be the reserve keeper, or the stand-in keeper. I'd imagine they'd have a bit of ice in that rag and placing it right on the bridge of Greg Dyer's nose.
Steve Waugh being brought back into the attack. Very shortly.
So Eddie Hemmings stays on 8. Pity for the statisticians, because in the first 100 years of Test match cricket, it only happened on 8 occasions that every player in a team reached double figures in an innings. There we are, England all out, 425 in this bicentenary Test match. Graham Dilley and Eddie Hemmings walk off as the flag flies high. Success there for Stephen Waugh, and that left Eddie Hemmings on 8, and robbed the statisticians of a nice little sequence there, because there are only 8 occasions since the start of Test match cricket where all batsmen have reached double figures in a Test match innings. So Eddie needed just another 2, but disappointment there for him Not so for the England captain, because 425 is a very good total after winning the toss on this SCG pitch. But I thought the Australians came back well today. It's a good even-looking scorecard. Broad 139 and Gatting 13 were not out overnight. And then Athey 37 and Capel 21. Capel looked a very good player out there today. 23 to John Embry, and Bruce French might have had a bit of luck, but he did just what Mike Gatting wanted. He carried the attack to the Australians, got away with it, and he added valuable runs there and pushed their total up past the 400 mark. Neil Foster 19 and Dilley 13, and the Australian bowling was handicapped by the loss of McDermott after the first session. He bowled really well again and with a lot of courage this morning, but he's injured his knee, not the one that has been bad, where he has to have the operation at the end of the summer, but the other one has a muscle problem now. Dotter made 1 for 98, and Taylor 4 for 84 after bowling without much conviction on the first day. Came back well today, flighted the ball, beat the batsman in the air, and that was a good effort from him. Stephen Waugh started things for Australia by getting Gatting and Broad as the first 2 wickets to fall, and Peter Sleep didn't have much luck either. He was a bit like McDermott. The ball went between fielders without actually going to hand. 45 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 114. So Dilley's dismissal left the Australians with a minimum of 8 overs to face. A very difficult little time, nasty period of 40 minutes with Dilley and Foster able to throw everything at them, and the possibility of spin coming on as well. Well, in fact, they negotiated that, and their scorecard showed at the end of the day, no wicket for 14. Boone made 12. He went off in a hurry, but then slowed down, and from the 10 overs, only 14 runs came. Well, I was thoroughly delighted with today's play. It was, I suppose, a little bit slow, but it was good, hard test match cricket, and the fact that the spinners were on for a lot of time delighted me no end. It turned out that England lost 8 wickets and made just over 200 runs. It was a good comeback by the Australians. I think Alan Border will have been well pleased with them. Good night. Hello and welcome to the highlights of the third day's play of this bicentenary test match at the SCG. It's Neil Foster we look at now in the second over of the morning, and he's coming in to bowl to Geoffrey Marsh. In the commentary box is Rodney Marsh, and alongside him is Bill Lurry.
Fearless for LBW. Foster's not happy.
I'm not sure whether Foster was appealing for LBW or the catch at bat pad. I think he was having a couple of bob each way there. It's pretty close. Bill Athey certainly wasn't interested in the catch.
Terribly close. He wasn't all that far forward. Whether it pitched in line with the stumps. Beautiful move, he's gone, yes. Beautifully bowled, Neil Foster. This has been a superb spell of fast bowling. Swinging it out, and getting the one to come on into the batsman. Got too close to Boone. That's a beautiful piece of bowling.
It certainly was a beautiful piece of bowling by Neil Foster. And David Boone didn't want to play at this. Tried to get the bat out of the way. And must have just been the faintest of nicks there. So he's on his way, caught by Bruce French. The bowler Neil Foster for 12, and Australia lose their first wicket at 18.
Well, Dean Jones strides the wicket. Boone removed by beautiful delivery from Neil Foster. That was a gem of a ball.
An excellent delivery. Just hitting the faintest of nicks there. And perhaps David Boone may have been better to try and play a defensive shot. Most times it is better if one bounces on you like that to drop the hands and get him out of the way.
Now the first sight of David Capel for Australian audiences, with the ball that is. He played, I thought, very well yesterday. He looked a good player. I've seen him play in county cricket in England. Thoroughly competent performer. Geoffrey Marsh is not going to be too pleased about that, but David Capel is going to be absolutely delighted. Marsh was out in similar fashion down in Melbourne recently, just playing away from his body.
Did play outside the line of the pads, and everyone goes up. Marsh looked as though he wasn't too interested in it, but Capel 1 for none. Marsh 5. Shakes his head. Disbelief. Australia 2 for 25.
Alan Border is the new batsman. He takes Geoffrey Marsh's place.
This is how Marsh goes. Capel. Very hard to tell there. Looks like very close to the hip. It's that noise. French is up for the second time. He gets success. So Australia's both openers back in the pavilion.
The outfield should be fast after all this heat here. There shouldn't be much moisture left in it. It's been cut every morning. And Border has gone. And Capel, making his first appearance on the Sydney Cricket Ground, has picked up 2 wickets.
Border attempted that shot off the very first ball he faced from Foster. Foster's off the ground. Capel changed ends. Similar delivery. Border, he really goes after this. He hits it well. That was perhaps his downfall. Too well. Didn't have to move too far across to his left to take that catch. And Capel, unbelievably, has taken 2 wickets. And Australia really backs to the wall at 3 for 34.
David Capel with incredible figures. 5 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 9.
Very tight session of play for Australia. The other end, Embry's bowled 7 overs. 4 of those have been maidens. He's got none for 5, so Australian batsmen is struggling.
Oh, good shot. Magnificent blast through cover. Fetch that one from the boundary. That was a wide-off volley, and it literally opened up the eyes of Dean Jones, and his bat responded in the way he knows best.
It's certainly a good shot. It was a wide delivery from Capel. Peter Burge once told me, when I was batting with him in one of my first Test series, certainly, that if we were in trouble, and we were at one particular stage, he said to play your normal game. And Dean Jones perhaps is going to adopt that policy.
And to take up commentary now, someone who I'm sure a lot of people would like to see going into bat for Australia in these circumstances. Watch the shot. Oh, beautiful shot through extra cover down to the boundary for 4. Well played, Mike Valletta. That brings up the 50 for Australia. 3 for 51. And the man I was talking about won Ian Chappell, and with him bobbles.
Thanks, Tony. I wish you wouldn't say that score with such a smile on your face and such pleasure in your voice. But at least it has advanced by 4 thanks to a magnificent cover drive there from Michael Valletta. 5 overs for 10 runs in the spell this morning for John Emburey. Now it's going to be Eddie Hemmings coming from the Randwick end. No slip for Hemmings, but he has a leg slip and a bat pad on the onside. Then he has a deep backward square.
Went very quickly. John Emburey round the corner. Perhaps the Australian luck's changing at last.
John Emburey will be most disappointed with himself, not quite supporting his fellow off spinner there.
2 good crowds here at the SCG on the opening days, 25,000 and then 27,000 yesterday. It's been a very festive occasion here at the bicentennial ball at North Sydney Oval the other night, and then there's the vintage car parade yesterday, official dinner coming up on Tuesday. All these things organised by the committee and people like George Noyce. Been a great success.
Oh, and a big appeal there for LBW. That must be very close. I think that was probably his arm ball. Eddie Hemmings is not very happy.
Beautiful breeze for the arm ball. And my goodness, that's not a very convincing looking shot, and well worth a shout.
Dilly is being brought back into the attack. Oh, he's dropped him. Well, everyone's got the dropsies in this test match. Robinson at mid-wicket dives away to his right, the sort of catch that should be taken at test match level. Valletta lucky to get away with that.
It's pretty much wide of the off stump. He did well to hit it that square. He didn't get that much middle on it either. Perhaps should have been caught. Great catches win matches. Wasn't an easy one. Valletta rides on.
And then Hughes, and that could be out. He's got him. Yes, he's out. A little bit of edge on that one. He doesn't look very happy, actually. In fact, he's very, very upset. Now, this is going to make a very interesting replay. I don't know whether that was just... It looks down at his arm there, Valletta. I think we might find that that one actually hits his arm and then goes up in the air.
It's not going to help Valletta. It's hard to say with the arm or the back of the glove, but he's been given out. So Valletta 22. Australia in more trouble at 4 for 82.
Stephen Waugh, the new batsman, in a real pressure house situation. Out there because Mike Valletta has been given out, caught at leg slip by John Embry. Did it hit the arm? Let's see if we can pick it. A little bit of glove. There may have been a little bit of glove. Well, it was so close, very difficult to tell.
Chance there for French, and missed. Lapse in concentration there by Dean Jones, and he was fortunate that there was a lapse also by the keeper.
Dean Jones down the wicket trying to loft over mid-on. What a lucky escape that was.
That time Jones connects. One bounce over the mid-on fence.
That brings up Dean Jones's 50. A very well played 50. That's what he tried to do in the previous over from Embry. He missed it. As did French. Missed the stumping. But he got it that time. That's what's happened today. All those batsmen dismissed. A session, first session this morning and session since lunch.
Shouts of catch it there, and Tony Crafter wasn't in much doubt. Raises his finger as Dean Jones leaves, the 5th Australian out with the score of 116.
Dean Jones decided earlier to get down the wicket, loft the ball the outfield. They put a man back there to prevent him playing that shot and trapped him into playing bat pad catch. Now he's on his way. He's batted very well. He's hit 4 boundaries in his 56. But Australia are in deep trouble now at 5 for 116.
Dean Jones has been flirting with death in this area on numerous occasions. Already been dropped there by John Embry earlier on. And this time off the face of the bat onto the pad, and no mistakes.
Shouts of catch it. Peter Sleep's first scoring stroke. And instead of being 2, it goes for 4.
There's a chance it could have been none. It could have been out. just getting over Squareleg's head. And had a taller man than Gatting been there, well, could have been all over Red Rover.
It's John Embury. Good attacking play from Stephen Waugh.
Dancing feet there by Stephen Waugh, and hit beautifully timed. Only took a second to get to the fence. So perhaps Stephen Waugh has decided it's his turn to attack.
A good dive, but all in vain. 5 for 137.
As Embury continues to Peter Sleep. In the air, there's a man out there. Eddie Hemmings, not the quickest mover. And all around that one, was never going to get there. It's the over bowled, 5 for 147. Attempting to sweep forward a square leg. Got an edge, Eddie Hemmings. Not really getting to it. 2 runs to Sleep.
Steve Waugh and Peter Sleep have played the spinners very comfortably. So England skipper Mike Gatting has decided to bring Graham Dilley back into the attack. He'll be bowling to Stephen Waugh.
He's got him, he's out, caught behind. The change brings the wicket. Stephen Waugh often fending outside the line of the off stump. And French takes a great catch. Waugh out, caught behind for 27.
Gatting does the trick again. A bowling change once again, bringing a wicket straight away. Graham Dilley getting that one right on line. Straightforward outside edge. French making a bit of a meal of the catch, but Waugh has gone. It's 6 for 147.
Greg Dyer comes to the crease. Australia really in trouble now at 6 for 147 because Graham Dilley's picked up Stephen Waugh, put behind by Bruce French.
The first ball of Dilley's spell, little more than a loosener, but Waugh not moving his feet, and Bruce French is ecstatic. That's cheered Graham Dilley up.
He's a typical fast bowler, isn't he? Close. Out. Yes, he's gone. LBW for a duck. Dilley strikes again. Full pitch delivery. 1 or 2 bounces, then the Yorker. A fine piece of bowling.
Greg Dyer on the back foot, expecting that bouncer. Graham Dilley using his intelligence, getting it further up, and he's trapped right in front, playing across the line. Tony Crafter in no doubt. Australia really on the rack. 7 for 153.
Peter Tower comes to the wicket because Greg Dyer was adjudged LBW for a duck.
Cricket is a truly amazing game. Dilley looking totally innocuous earlier on, but he's trapped Dyer there. Umpire Crafter, who seems to be giving all the decisions in this match, again answering in the affirmative.
Sweep point, short legs, 2 slips, 2 gullies. Oh, it struck him. He didn't get down. That's a nasty one. Peter Taylor not going right down, taking his eye off the ball. It was a short pitch delivery, but he went down too soon, struck him a nasty blow.
And the fatal mistake of turning his head away from the ball gave him a nasty crack on the back of the helmet. He's up on his feet though, but looking pretty groggy.
Yes, you must always keep your eye on the ball. He's gone down and hasn't taken off that delivery. Short pitch delivery. Peter Taylor's a tough competitor. That was a sickening blow.
This ball not bouncing very much. Taylor turning his head right away and getting a crack on the back of the skull.
Looks as if that raid is getting quite close now. There was just a little bit of weather registering on the radar just south of the ground. And now they're going to have another chat. Coming across again, and perhaps decided that they think it's not that good. They're going to now offer it to the batsman, who is saying, yes, thank you very much. It is a bit dark. We've decided to head back into the dressing room. I think that's fair enough, Rod. Pretty dark out there.
Well, it's very dark, Tony. The ground staff will think very seriously about bringing out the covers right now, because it appears almost certain, as certain as you can be, that it is going to rain.
Well, there's not much fun for those players walking off the field there, those Australian batsmen, because they're deep in trouble here at the end of day 3 in this bicentenary match. That's the way it finished, 7 for 164, because of the bad light and then the heavy rain that hit the ground. The umpires called it off at 5:32. That was the official call-off time, and the Australians, I suspect, would have been quite relieved to be able to sit back in the dressing room and reflect on what they might have to do over the next couple of days. 72 overs for 164, and the bowling figures are very impressive. I thought England bowled really well out there today and yesterday in the short time they were there. Graham Dilley, 11 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 35, bowled extremely well. And Foster at 14 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 19. His effort was top class. Embury had the benefit of bowling into the breeze, finished with none for 44, bowled quite well. But I thought Hemmings was the pick of the 2 off-spinners, 18 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 46. And he had the strong southeasterly wind at his back. David Capel, you can't have a much better debut. I suppose you could, but you wouldn't want to settle for anything more than that. 6 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 13, including the Australian captain, Alan Border. And yesterday, he batted in most satisfactory fashion to make his 20-odd runs. Day 4 of the bicentenary test match between Australia and England at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Welcome to the highlights. Well, England have taken all the tricks of the first 3 days. They batted very well to make 425. They've bowled well. They've been extremely well led by Michael Gatting, who must be delighted with the way the game has gone.
After a summer on top, the Aussies were back down under yesterday at the SCG. The English bowlers capitalised on their batsmen's solid display to have Mike Gatting calling the tune after 3 days of the bicentennial test.
Beautiful move, he's gone, yes. Beautifully bowled, Neil Foster. This has been a superb spell of fast bowling.
And Border has gone. And Capel, making his first appearance on the Sydney Cricket Ground, has picked up 2 wickets.
That's a good bouncer. Foster really has been very impressive.
Went very quickly.
He's got him, he's out, caught behind. The change brings the wicket. Stephen Waugh often fending outside the line of the off stump. And French takes a great catch. Waugh out, caught behind for 27. Oh, it struck him. He didn't get down. That's a nasty one. Peter Taylor not going right down, taking his eye off the ball. It was a short pitch delivery, but he went down too soon. Struck him a nasty blow.
No 2 tougher competitors ever represented Australia than Ian Chappell and Rodney Marsh. A tough situation out there for the team today, and here they are chatting about it.
Thanks very much, Richie. Well, right throughout the season, Alan Border, the Australian captain, has been saying that he thinks that the Australian team can get out of any trouble that they get into. They've got a terrific opportunity to prove that today, Rodney.
They have, and they've been doing it pretty well. They've got into trouble in the test matches against New Zealand. They've got themselves back on the right note and on the right keel, and certainly in the one-day games they got themselves into more trouble than Brick Bradford on a couple of occasions, but they got out of it and won. This is going to be a bit more difficult.
I suppose, obviously, the first thing is to avoid the follow-on.
Yeah, well, they've got 62 runs to make to do that, and you know, Peter Sleep, I thought, played as well as anyone yesterday, and a lot will depend on how well he goes this morning.
Yes, he plays the spinners extremely well, has done right throughout his career, and he really does play the off spinners extremely well.
Yeah, well, I guess he could have been out first ball. He swept at one first ball yesterday, just cleared Gadding's head. But after that, he played beautifully. And, of course, Dottermaid and McDermott can bat, as can Peter Taylor. He proved that here last year in the Test match.
The amazing thing is that the fielding has been so good all season, and yet it's let them down against England. We do seem to have this problem with England at the moment. I wish we could get rid of it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. I mean, I suppose they had to really play badly. A side doesn't go through a year without playing badly, and it just seems to be unfortunate that this is the one game they played badly in so far. But there's 2 days to go.
Yes, I think a point you made too about Peter Taylor. He's a great fighter. Craig McDermott has showed tremendous fight this season with the ball. So there is a lot of fight left in this Australian side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously England must be favoured to win the game, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Australia got themselves out of this. So let's hope they can.
Well, Richie, let's hope that Rodney Marsh is right.
Well, there you are. There's 2 great players for Australia in past years. Talking about Australia's chances today, I think much of it will depend on the type of pitch there is out there today, how much spin there is. And just have a quick look now at the weather watch Tony Greig was using a little while ago to show just how much moisture there is in the pitch. That was right down. It was down to 354 out of 1,000. It started off at just on 900, and that really indicates that the moisture is gone and there will be quite a bit of spin there. Well, it's going to be Graham Dilley to start off, but we'll just show you quickly before play begins. It's only 10:59 here. The 2 teams lined up. This is the Bicentenary Test match. Ian McDonald, the Australian manager, is on the left. The officials of the England side on the left also. And the players from the 2 teams there for a team photograph this morning before the start of play on this 4th day. Great players all and great competitors. That's what we have for the start of the 4th day. We pick it up now in the first over. Just 1 run added, 7 for 165. Dilley is the bowler coming in from the southern or Randwick end. He's bowling to Peter Taylor, and your commentators Tony Greig and Doug Walters.
Oh, and that's flown away over the top of gully, down towards the boundary for 4. Well, I shouldn't think that Dilley will mind him playing a few flashy shots like that.
Peter Taylor has decided that he's going to play a few shots. Didn't quite get that where he wanted it, but the result was the same.
Hemmings continues. Oh, he's hit that one away, down towards the boundary. 45 to save the follow-on now, 7 for 181.
That's out. Peter Taylor trying a delicate little cut. I won't say it was possible to hear it from here, but wasn't far off. And that's another problem for Australia.
No doubt about that one. The cut shot had been a very productive one for Peter Taylor. But that one's a bit wide to attempt it. And a clearly seen nick through to Bruce French. Australia lose their first wicket of the day. They're 8 for 183.
Tony Dottermaid is the new batsman for Australia.
Peter Taylor won't look back on this shot with any relish. He really had to reach out to make contact with the ball, but he didn't make enough. Just a little thin edge through to Bruce French, and 3 wickets for Eddie Hemmings.
Zamburi. Safely away. Good sensible shot. Peter Sleep's going to take advantage of everything he can. Must do that with number 10 and number 11 in with you.
It's a fine shot from Peter Sleep.
Neil Foster is to come on at the northern or Paddington end.
It's a bad ball and he puts it away. And Davy Hemmings, the slowest of the English fieldsmen, kicks it into the gutter. 20 runs needed to avoid the follow-on. Gone! Beautifully bowled. Superb catch. And Foster gets just reward for an excellent piece of bowling. The outswinger perfectly pitched and beautifully taken at second slip.
No mean feat to dismiss Peter Sleep, who was well and truly entrenched out there in the SCG. Disappointment showing. Foster perseverance, good line, good length, just a little bare minimum of deviation away, and a pretty good catch there at third slip. So Sleep now out for 41, and this game wide open in terms of the 226. 9 for 209.
Craig McDermott batting at number 11. He comes to the wicket because Neil Foster, who's bowled superbly, picks up his second wicket.
The second new ball doing the damage. He was the pick of the bowlers yesterday, only finished with 1 wicket, and a just deserved.
Sleep just trying to force that one, and Athey moving quickly to his left. It was a sharp catch, and Sleep out for a well-made 41. A fine innings by Peter Sleep.
And 12 runs required now to avoid the follow-on. McDermott has decided to lash out. Foster, oh, what a catch! A brilliant catch. Looked like he'd misjudged it there for a moment, but at the last minute he threw himself sideways, and with the ball coming over his shoulder, took a brilliant catch. So the option is now up to Mike Gatting.
Well, totally misjudged, but in the end finished up keeping the eye on the ball, and he's pretty happy about that one.
The groundsman just came out to ask Mike Gatting what roller he would like to use, and he said, you better go and ask the gentleman in the green cap by the name of Alan Border. He'll be able to tell you, because Australia will be following on.
What a terrific effort from Neil Foster to take that last wicket for Graham Dilley and to allow Mike Gatting the option of enforcing the follow-on over his opposite number, Alan Border. The scorecard for the Australians, 214. They failed to avoid the follow-on by 11 runs. An excellent innings from Peter Sleep this morning for his 41. Taylor played well, made 20, and Dodder made 12 not out. I'm not quite sure why McDermott was flailing away out there when he had Dodder made there, and Dodder made has already made a test match half century in his very first test against New Zealand. 214, and the bowling figures, well, they underline the fact that England have had a great test match here. Dilley 3 for 54, Foster 2 for 27, Capel 2 for 13, and Hemmings, who I thought bowled very well, 3 for 53, with Embury the only man without a wicket, no wicket for 57. So Australia face a big task. They had just 10 minutes batting before lunch on this fourth day. They had to get through a couple of overs from Dilley and from Neil Foster, who was on a high, and David Boone and Geoffrey Marsh were the men entrusted with that job.
No wicket for 7. Graham Dilley continues. It's just over gully. It's going to make the boundary.
Not a typical Geoff Marsh stroke, that. A bit too close to him to cut. But he managed to force it through the gully area and pick up the 4 runs. Didn't really get the full weight of the bat onto that one, but enough to take it to the fence.
It's beautifully pulled away.
David Boone gave that one the full treatment. He was on the back foot, waiting for that short one from Dilley, and really cracked it away.
Neil Foster to continue. Boone and Marsh doing a great job here, seeing off the new ball. Big shout from behind the wicket.
Despite the loudness of the appeals, a bit of an afterthought from Foster. Hitting right up the top of the pad, although Boone had his front leg bent. And Tony Kraft not interested in that one.
Well, Australia making a safe but steady start. Graham Dilley to continue.
Beautiful shot there from Jeffrey Marsh. We saw him play a cut earlier on in his innings. And that went for a boundary, but it was uppish. Went over the top of gully. On this occasion, he hit it straight to ground.
It's no ball on not. I think that was going. And Jeff Marsh collecting 4 runs. It's his second boundary.
Beautiful shot. Dilley pitching the ball up, trying to give it the opportunity to swing. And we've seen Boone play that straight drive and on drive many times this season.
David Boone collecting 3 runs. Foster to continue. Spun from the northern end.
A big shout there from the bowler and the fieldsman behind the wicket, but I think a little ambitious.
Well, Tony Kraft has really been given a hard time. He's had to make most of the decisions. He done the first innings from the Randwick end. The umpires change for the second innings of the match. He's now at the northern end or the Paddington end, and he's had a couple of near leg before decisions to give in the past couple of overs. And that's over the top, down to the fence for 4.
Jeffrey Marsh has hit 3 4s. They've all been cut shots. Two of them he's cut over the top of gully, and the third one he cut straight into the ground. That's a beautiful shot. Well, that's one way to deal with the outswinger.
Perfect way to meet a half volley. Foot right next to the ball and in the middle of the bat.
Players have had a drink. Australia making only 214 and being forced to follow on by Mike Gatting. None for 44. Far better start. 3 for 39 in the first innings and never really recovered. Some stout resistance from Boone, but Mike Gatting won the toss and England batted first. They batted for the better part of 2 days and made 425. A good shot. He really has been in marvellous form this summer, David Boone. And back from India, success at the World Cup. International Cricketer of the Year. Got a brute of a ball in the first innings, which took off a bit, but the attitude, confidence is back again at the moment. Really down the track and after Eddie Hemmings. Almost a half-century opening stand. The second attempt by Boone and Marsh. David Capel to continue the attack. He's about to bowl his 4th over.
Century comes up with that leg by. 25 to Boone, 19 to Marsh. I think Eddie was actually putting in the big ones there around the fine leg boundary, and it's none for 56.
It's going to be Embry again. Oh, and he's got to be careful of letting them go when they spin back like that.
Yes, that one is pitched well wide of off stump. It certainly has spun. Now, would it have hit the stumps? Umpire Crafter doesn't think so, therefore turns down the appeal.
Once again, Hemmings started his 9th over, no wicket for 15. He's been more expensive than Embry. That's well played. Over pitched outside off stump, and Boone not allowing that one to go begging. He's whipped it away square. It may not quite get there, will it? Yes, there's a little bit of downhill there, and in to the fence it goes. Good shot, that one. No wicket for 76. Good shot again. He's picking that one, and once again Mr. Hemmings falls in behind it. I tell you what, he's got something in common with Ewan Chatfield. This great desire to fall in behind anything that's hit in his direction. That's the end of the over. No wicket for 81.
Embry yet to take a wicket. Been a bit lean the last 7 test matches. He's only taken 7 wickets. There's a single there, looking for 2. Boone wants it, and whoa, there's almost a mix-up. Well, Marsh will no doubt let his mate hear about that a little later on tonight. It's Marsh's call. Turn back Buddha square. Boone hit it, and then Boone, coming back to the danger end, has decided he'll have it. Gets Marsh up and running, and then only to have him turn around and scramble back home safely. There's Boone, eye on the ball, reckons he can beat it, and then whoop, yes, no, wait, and fortunately no sorry.
Placement there from David Boone. He got that one straight to ground and avoided Tim Robinson at mid-wicket.
That's his 50th fine half-century. Acknowledges his teammates in the dressing room. Smallish crowd here. Fairly happy about David Boone. Still a lot of hard work to go.
Half-century there to David Boone. That's his 9th in Test cricket. No one at backward point, so they should easily pick up 3, especially seeing the fielder is Graham Dilley and he can't throw. There it is, the 4th century opening stand for Boone and Marsh in Test matches. It's their 2nd at the SCG and their 2nd against England. That's interesting. Umpires have immediately gone and had a chat. It doesn't mention anything in the laws of cricket about danger to the batsman, although in England, in the playing conditions, apparently it does mention danger to the batsman. But obviously the umpires thought it was dangerous, and they asked David Boone and Jeffrey Marsh if they would like to go off, and they said, "You betcha." Now that means that they can't go back out there unless the light improves.
And sadly, I'm afraid it didn't do that. And the ground staff were very quick to bring out the covers when it looked as though there might have been showers, and the game was abandoned at 5:36. So, grim view for the spectators. The umpires had the difficult job to do there. The light meter, when they went off originally, was on 35, and when they called it off, it was on 31. So that's very sad. The light did deteriorate quite markedly towards the end, and England had to be satisfied with making Australia follow on, and Australia could be well satisfied with what happened in their second innings. None for 101, a fine performance from David Boone and Jeffrey Marsh, 43.3 overs in front of a crowd of 13,049 spectators. So there's plenty of batting to come, and Australia at the moment need 110 to have England bat again, and they have all second innings wickets in hand, and a very fine performance from those two men. And the bowling figures for England, no joy there today. Foster none for 14, Capel none for 11, Dilley none for 23. The two spinners did most of the work. Hemmings none for 29 from 14 overs and 2 maidens, and John Embury none for 20 from 11 overs and 2 maidens. But a great performance from Jeff Marsh and David Boone out there. Another century stand, their 4th in test match work for Australia in the years they've been together. This is their 29th test as an opening pair for Australia. They'll still be going tomorrow, and there's plenty of batting to come, with Australia needing 110 to make England bat again. So still a good match in prospect, a full day to go, and the Australians fighting back. Good night. Hello, welcome to the highlights of the last day of the bicentenary match between Australia and England at the Sydney Cricket Ground. We pick it up now with 4 runs added to the overnight score. It's the 5th over. Graham Dilley's coming into bowl to David Boone, and with me in the commentary box is Rodney Marsh. Low ball and a wide ball, giving David Boone plenty of scope.
Dilley certainly had his problems this morning.
Embury to continue.
Nice placement. Beats both of them. Beats Graham Dilley's right hand and the left boot of the mid-off fieldsman to bring up Jeffrey Marsh's 50.
Well played by Jeffrey Marsh. 4 boundaries in that 50. Coming off 177 deliveries in 209 minutes.
It's well played, using his feet. Wafts over mid-on. Boone moves to 89.
It really is the hallmark of a good player when he's prepared to come down the wicket to the spinners and strike them just like that over the top. So David Boone within 11 runs of a century.
That's a good shot by David Boone, way over the top, 1 bounce into the fence at long on. That's the first time that he's really gone through with a straight drive, having advanced down the wicket.
That shot would suggest that David Boon doesn't want to hang around too long in the nervous 90s. Pretty safe shot, really. Picked the bat up straight. Timed it beautifully. Marsh started the day at 41 not out. He's taken that along to 56.
That's out. Caught forward short leg. Marsh pushing forward. And England have made the breakthrough. 162 runs later. Marsh is out, caught at forward short leg, and that is Embry's first wicket in this Test match.
Pretty much as though the English were waiting for something to happen. Finally, after a big partnership, it does happen. Embury gets his first wicket. Australia's opening stand stops at 162. Geoff Marsh is out for 56.
Dean Jones, the new batsman for Australia, made 56 in the first dig. And he's out there because the opening partnership has been broken.
Perfect example of spin. Bat in front of the pad, hitting the edge of the bat, and then just squeezing it out. With the help, too, I think, of a little bit of pad that holds it up long enough for Bill Athey to take the catch. Copped a nasty one on the shins there yesterday, fielding in close to the wicket, so that would perhaps ease some of the pain.
That's well played. Down to the boundary it goes. Dean Jones sweeping that ball right off the meat of the bat.
It's a good way to start off the innings. First scoring shot, a boundary for Dean Jones. Just feel for the man at bat pad there. Beautifully balanced shot. Into the pickets for 4 runs.
1 for 169. 4 minutes to lunch. Probably 2 overs. David Boon has 3 to get for his 100. England are taking their time out there. They're not in any hurry whatever. Embry. That's 1. Will he get 2? He may look for the second. Yes, he will. So back he comes, and that makes his score 99. I suppose they'll all come in now to save the 1. Down the wicket he comes. He's got his 100. Well played, David Boon. That's his second Test 100 against England, his 6th in Test matches, and what a tremendous back-to-the-wall effort it's been. Six Test 100s, 2 against England. A very, very important innings, not only for David Boon, but for Australia too.
Eddie Hemmings continues. Tries a slow full toss, and Boon picks it up, smashes it through mid-wicket. Eddie Hemmings prepared to try and buy a wicket. 1 for 178. So if England are going to have any chance of winning this bicentennial Test match, they must get wickets with the second new ball. That's a great start. The new ball comes onto the bat, and Boon crashes it away for 4.
David Boon decides to take a little shine off that new cherry. Really wasn't a good first up ball with the new ball. Short outside off stump. David Boon puts it away to the vacant outfield and into the gutter.
Gone. Dropped. Dear, oh dear. Straight to Athey. Chest high. And Dilley gets the ball to move away. Bill Athey drops a sitter.
Graham Dilley, he's found the outside edge, and it's gone straight but very fast. to Athey, hitting him in the chest. Sure that he actually got a hand to it. It really hit him very hard and bounced back towards Dean Jones. Ball really did fly hard. And there was the problem. It's just in that area where you reverse the cups, the fingers pointing down to upwards. Bill Athey still had them pointing down.
Oh, big appeal there for LBW. No shot offered. And hence the huge appeal from the England players out there. Dilley not very happy with the result. One of the problems there is it's quite difficult to tell when the pad is thrust forward like that outside off stump whether the ball is definitely going to hit the stumps or not.
David Capel continuing.
That's a beautiful shot. Jones beginning to loosen up now. You won't see many better off drives than that one. Once he'd hit it, he never moved.
This stroke played with a minimum of effort. It's pure timing. No brute force attached to that stroke at all. And as soon as he felt the ball leave the bat, he knew it was going to the boundary.
There's a good time to come into the commentary box. A cracking shot by Dean Jones of a shortish ball from Capel.
You can't bowl short leg stump to Dean Jones. The very attacking batsman. Shots all round the wicket. At just one of them.
What a catch. Just pulled that out of thin air. Capel's done it again. He's got the breakthrough. Hasn't bowled much in this match. When he has been on, he's been taking wickets.
Dean Jones in typical Cavalier style. Brought him a half century in the first innings, and that one's brought him down. Well, what a magnificent catch. The gully. So he's out now for just 24 runs. Second Australian wicket down. The total 218.
Alan Border is the new batsman, out for 2 in the first innings to David Capel. Border's off the mark. This is an important afternoon for David Capel. He's got the chance with Foster off the field to use the newish ball. This is only the 14th over with the second new ball. Gee, that's a good shot.
The SCG here today can be a great classroom for David Capel to learn a lot about bowling to top-line player like Boone and also to Alan Border. Bowling against a player in form.
That is well worth a shout. That's what that rule was designed for. Stopping batsmen from padding up. That must have been very close.
Umpire Crafter had a long, hard look at this, as well he might.
There it is, his highest score in Test cricket. Should get 3 for that shot. Takes Boone to 146.
Yes.
150 to David Boone. The 11th highest score by an Australian in an Australia versus England test at the SCG.
Eddie Hemmings to continue. That one's gone way down towards the square leg boundary. One bounce into the seats. So Boone now starting to turn it on.
David Boone's 13th boundary of this innings.
It's well hit. David Boone hasn't gone over the top of the infield too often. Most times when he's come down the track, he's kept the ball along the ground. He didn't bother on that occasion.
And this is one of the really good strokes that have been played today. No messing about there.
Eddie obviously getting sick of David Boone jumping down the track to him. Decided he'd combat it his own way.
Good stroke.
Good shot from the Australian captain, Alan Border. 27 minutes past 5. Possibility of captains agreeing to end the match at 5:30 is very real.
I reckon Border's going to play a maiden here quite deliberately. And it's only 5:28. That'll give Boone the one over to go past Dean Jones. We'll give him the chance to go past. He hasn't made the single yet. Well, perhaps they won't get the extra over. Might be all bets off.
Border comes down the track, taking time. I think everyone out there is very aware of just what the time is.
The umpire is going to come in, and that looks like it. The players go off. David Boone 184 not out, the same as Dean Jones. Dean Jones' innings played last year.
Prize money for the match of $9,000.
Congratulations all round, and massive congratulations to David Boone for a job very well done. A fine effort from all the Australians there today. They can be very proud of what has happened out there in the second innings, and for the fact that they saved this game. Tony Greig is down there now with the captain of the Australian side, the vice-captain of the England side, and the man of the match.
Thank you very much. I've got $10,000 here out of that bicentennial test match kitty, and $9,000 of that is going to be shared between the two sides because the match has been drawn. I've also got Mr. Malcolm Gray, chairman of the Australian Cricket Board, with me. He's got not only the cheques, but he also has that marvellous test match coin, bicentennial test coin. Each of the captains getting one of those. That was struck by Stokes Mint in Melbourne, and it has on it the bicentennial test logo. So a nice coin. Alan Border's been good enough to whip the pads off and get up here. Well played.
Thank you very much.
Your coin and your money.
Thank you. Thank you.
An interesting test match, in so much as I suppose when you look back to the beginning of it, it could have been so different. Had Australia perhaps latched onto those few opportunities on the first day, they may not have scored 400, and we could have had a great game.
Yes, that was the vital day. If we'd, as you said, hung on to a few catches, just play a little bit better on day one, could have been a whole different ball game, would have been a very good game. But as it was, we had bad days first day and third day, and we were sort of never really in the game. but I was really happy the way we fought back, particularly David Byrne.
Well, you've said that all summer. You've said you feel now that when Australia get into trouble, that they're still going to take a lot of beating because you have this capacity now to fight back, and that proved to be right this time round.
Well, it's been developing over 6 months. I still don't think we've got the test match formula quite right, but eventually we're going to get there. And as I said, with the side the way it's developing, we're going to be a very good team.
Did you find it hard to jump out of the one-day format straight into test matches?
I think we did, just on the first couple of days. It was just hard to get the mind set on exactly what was required. If we'd all had maybe a Shield game or something like that in between, it might have been different, but you've got to give credit where credit's due. The Englishmen played very well, and they deserved to be on top right through to the end.
What about the Sydney Cricket Ground pitch for the match?
Pretty good test wicket. It had a little bit of life early and then developed into a pretty good batting wicket. It seemed to die a bit of a death today, where the ball was turning but wasn't that difficult to come back because it didn't really bounce much. So, maybe someone like a leg spinner might have been a bit more difficult on that sort of wicket today.
Down to Melbourne from here. Looking forward to the one-day game down there?
Oh, very much so. I think hopefully we can show our true colours down in Melbourne in the one-day.
Good. Well, bad luck. Didn't win it, but you saved it, and good luck in Melbourne.
Thanks very much, Tony.
John Enderby has come up because I think Mike Gadding's got flu. Perhaps you could tell us a bit about that before we give you your coin.
Well, Mike's been sort of ill for the last couple of days, and he's had a lot of chest problems, and overnight he's just gone down. He came onto the field this morning because he felt that he had to and tried to stick it out, but he was struggling. He put on sweaters and whatever and decided to have a kip this afternoon. He's gone back to the hotel now.
Now, what you chaps, having scored 400, you would have reckoned that you've got a great chance. You must be just a bit disappointed that you weren't able to bowl them out, having made them follow on.
Yeah, haven't made them follow on. Obviously, the bowlers stuck to their task and we held some good catches. Having made them follow on, we just lost that little bit of momentum when we came off with a bad light on the third night. And we never, sort of a little bit lacklustre yesterday morning. And we've struggled all the way through, but David Byrne played really well. Marshy got stuck in, and, after all the one-day cricket that Australia had, I think they were disappointed with their first innings, but they really got stuck in second innings and played well.
Thanks for coming up. We've got a coin for you.
Malcolm, thanks very much. Thank you.
Well done. Right, well now we've got the Man of the Match award. It's a pretty important one, this. A marvellous goal. I don't know if we can handle this. It's a huge, great...
We can't shake his hand.
Yeah, well, no, we can't shake his hand. Doesn't it look fantastic, though? The Man of the Match is David Byrne. $1,000 plus that marvellous gold tray and goblets. Congratulations, David.
Thanks very much, Tom.
Well done. You must have thoroughly... Can you hang on to that and talk?
Oh, just.
You must have thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, not too bad. Especially seeing it's the bicentennial test match, it's great to score 100 and plus being not out at the end of it.
You look so relaxed these days, but it doesn't matter whether it's one-day cricket or test match cricket. Did it make any difference to you? I asked Alan Border whether it was tough to change from one to the other. You seem to have adjusted beautifully.
Not too bad. I sort of struggled a little bit in the first innings, I think. But the second innings just decided we'd have to knuckle down because of the situation of the game. And I was quite pleased with the way I concentrated.
Well, congratulations. It really was a pleasure to watch, and here's to a few more of those.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Well, there we are. A very happy David Byrne, and a marvellous prize, that too. Back to the central commentary position.
Thanks, Tony. And just to underline what a job David Byrne did, there's his 184 recorded for all time. 48 to Border, good innings from him. That outstanding opening partnership between Marsh and Byrne got Australia underway. 2 for 328, and the bowling figures for England, they really struggled out there. It was a fine Australian performance against the same bowling attack that bowled them out in the first innings for just 214, a wicket to Capel and one to John Embury. Now, coming up on Thursday is the match between the same two sides. It's the bicentenary one-day game down in Melbourne, and play starts there at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's a day-night match, and that should be a real thriller of a limited overs game. Well, it's been nice to have you all with us for this bicentenary game here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It finished up in a draw, but some excellent performances all the way through. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to having you with us for the highlights of Thursday's match. That's the next on show on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
This has been another presentation